demolition by neglect, no, Cindy.
Demolition by neglect, that's the one on Church Street.
Okay, we can begin.
Maybe it's not-
Good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee of the Town of Yarmouth, which is being held in accordance with Chapter 470 of the Acts of 1973 as amended. And it's on 7:15 p.m. Monday, November 14, 2022, at the Yarmouth Town Hall Hearing Room, located at 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. Moreover, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, considering certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting is being run in a hybrid mode. There are 4 applications for certificate of appropriateness and 2 applications for certificates of demolition that will be heard this evening in the order listed on the agenda. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting, and it's the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should also know that there is a 10 calendar day appeal period, starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway. Our office administrator would be happy to answer any questions you may have with respect to that process. Good evening, Bob. Welcome.
Later than never. That's all I got.
That's enough. So the first item on the agenda is concerned with installing 40 solar panels on the rear roof at 140 Cranberry Lane, a home that's owned by Silva Campos Robinson, it's all one name, and Sunrun Installation Services is the agent, and the gentleman from Sunrun was here. Your name for the record,
Steve Kelly from Sunrun.
right? Good. So,
Still his icon.
So this again is a situation where Sunrun actually owns the solar installation?
Correct. It's a
be leased.
power plan that they have.
Well, it's clearly all on the rear.
Yeah,
On black panels.
Any comments from the public or interested parties, abutters? I move to approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Passes. No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's why I was presumptuous sitting there.
Well, you did a good job in putting the package together. And we also have an opportunity to read all through this online long before the meeting. That's good. Now, this, as you're aware, if you sign that, it says you're going to build according to plan. And you can date it. Good. Thanks, Steve.
Night-night.
Aye.
Good night.
See you later.
The next item is concerned with building a shed at 62 Collingwood Drive. Mary Carroll and Steve Richard are the owners, and they are, you can come up and sit here. The microphones operate. This is kind of like at the edge of the woods.
It
The
is.
location you can
yeah.
put them.
Which side of the house is it gonna be on, facing it on the left?
It'd be on the left,
Next to
yes.
the garage?
Yes.
Yeah, on the garage side, but set
Past
back.
the driveway?
Yeah.
Down back. It's not gonna be visible at all, I think.
So I noticed that your abutter to the right as you're facing your house also has a shed,
Yes.
and yours is somewhat similar in style and design.
Yeah.
Any comments from the public or other interested parties?
I had a question. The walls on either end, it says panelized Euro spruce 2x4s with 1x12 pine boards. Is that, what will that look like?
That's board and batten.
Okay.
It's got the board and then the batten over the,
It kind of looks like a T111, but it's not T111.
it's not.
So it's,
Okay. All right.
I move to approve.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Yeah, you have to come up.
Yeah. If you can sign here, just one signature. It says that you're gonna build it according to plan, and if any changes, let us know in advance. It's the 14th. Great, thank you. Good luck with it now.
All right, thank you.
It looks good.
You're welcome. Night.
Let's see. The next item is concerned with a demolition. This is to demolish a barn at 38 Church Street. Carter Farm LLC is the owner, and David Timothy Carter is the agent. Are they here or are they online?
Come on down.
So you are David? This is a big barn.
It is.
What is the history of that property?
History of the
No,
property.
I'm having a little trouble here.
No problem.
The history of the property. This barn was built around 1880, is it?
18, I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
Was it built around 1880, the barn?
1863.
1863.
Okay.
I'll-
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I think.
Yeah. And I assume a barn, there's probably a house goes along with it.
There is a house on the property, yes.
Well, there's a house on the property, but what I'm asking, that wasn't the original house, because that house was built in 1920.
The house.
Yeah.
The house, part of it was probably built in the 20s. The house was originally moved from Weir Village, the Cape. It's
Back
a-
in the 1800s then, 1850 or something.
I'm not. My brother was a historian, and he's not with us anymore. So I can't answer that question
Yeah.
accurately.
Because there are a couple of other houses down at the end of Church Street on the other side of the street.
Yep, there are.
You're on the east and to the west. There's a
Sure.
couple of old-looking houses.
It's the oldest house at that end of the street, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you live in this house that's
I have
attached to the?
at
bu-
times.
You
I
have.
don't live there now.
Who lives there now? Anybody?
It's not lived in. It's a sort of a seasonal. The family uses it in the summertime.
How
Summertime.
long has it been owned by the Carter Farm LLC?
2000, I'm sorry, I don't exactly know, around the beginning of,
The early 2000s, though, or more recent?
yeah, it's been.
It was in the Carter
Jan.
family longer than that, though, wasn't it?
What's that?
Wasn't it in the Carter family longer than that before it was in the LLC? It was in your family
It belonged to my father, it's a Thatcher property, dates back to 1639.
How long have you been aware of the deteriorating condition of this barn?
In what stage?
How long have you
Oh, I
been aware
understand.
of its deteriorating condition?
30 years?
And why did you not take steps to save it?
Part of it was financial, some of it was, I have worked on it. I started working on it back in 30 years ago. I did some beam repairs, poured some concrete. I've done what I can over the years. However, the insect damage to that barn is very extensive. There's a lot of what we used to call powder posts. I don't know what it's called now, but it's very extensive. And as soon as the water hits it, it turns to mulch.
I have more to say on the subject of this application, but I'd like to hear from members of the public, if there are any here who, yes, would you come up to the microphone, please?
I'm attending this meeting in two forms.
Can you give us your name first?
Yes, my name is Sam Lawrence. I'm a resident of Yarmouth, and I am also a member of Yarmouth's Historical Commission, and I am coming here to speak in both forms. As a resident of Yarmouth, I'd like to say that this is probably one of the last few barns of this era standing in the town, and I would like to see it preserved if possible. As a member of the Historic Commission, I look at it from historic attributes, history of the property, who's owned it. I believe one of your members here said it dates back to the Thatchers, and that it is quite old. Going back as a resident of Yarmouth, I believe there is another fellow local person who would like to speak on this tonight, but they have not arrived yet. I think it would be fair to have them speak if they arrive. I don't know why they're not here yet.
It may be you now. The older lady?
Come on in. Historic.
As somebody who drives Yarmouth frequently and is always looking at scenery, admiring old houses, looking at how close they are to the road, how they've changed over the years, how landscape have changed, one of the things that I think that draws people to the Cape is the quaint old look, and barns are a contributing structure in my mind to that period and to that era. Being that this is one of the few barns I believe left on the Cape from this era, I think it should be reviewed closely and looked at for preservation if possible. I'm not sure what else I can say. I have not seen the barn in person other than driving by, but I have noticed its deteriorating condition over the years, and it has been concerning to me that it has been able to deteriorate to this stage. So that's what I have to say.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Sam.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on the subject? All right, well, I will. I'm an antiquarian by trade. To watch this barn slowly decay is one of the most egregious cases of demolition by neglect I have seen since I moved to Cape Cod in 1986. I'll amplify what the gentleman who just spoke said by saying that I think it's one of the most historically significant barns that exists on the entire Cape, and by extension in New England. It's a beautiful barn, and although it would cost a fair amount of money to preserve the barn now, as opposed to many years ago when it could have been saved at relatively little cost, I cannot endorse this application. It's a tragedy, and I think that if the building inspector wants to step in and declare it derelict, that's one matter, but I won't vote for this application.
Other than bringing it down, what benefit is it to you to do that? Just to stop having to look at it, do you pay for its upkeep at all, or do you, you said you can't afford to do anything to it. I'm wondering if it can be put on the Register of Historic Places. I don't even know what that entails, but maybe this fellow does. It would seem to me that that would be the best place for it, and then maybe have a fundraiser to fix it. I don't know. But it's an amazing building. It is unfortunate that it has reached the point that it has, that you have no interest in repairing it for whatever reason, financial or whatever. Sometimes you have to go beyond that if you're going to maintain the historic places in any area that everybody loves. Not so much the owner, perhaps, but the town. So I don't know what it would take to take this and put it in a protective area like the preservation, putting it on the Register of Historic Places. Do you know anything about that?
Do I?
No, not, this fellow right here.
Sam,
No, I did not have time to look.
Okay, okay. Richard, do you know what it takes?
no, but,
I actually do.
you know, you could.
Sarah?
Because the Academy, which, of Performing Arts in Orleans, which of course was our theater for the 50s through the 70s, it has the similar issue with the rotting beams, and it sits on timbers that are being pulverized similarly to what you experienced with your beams. And so we've looked at a historic registry. It doesn't take a heavy lift at all, but what it does is ties your hands quite a bit, which that's the whole kind of purpose behind it. So it's not, it's a matter of a form, essentially.
Who initiates the,
It's like you do a Google thing in your historical registry, and you just fill out the forms.
but does the owner fill out the forms, or the town?
Oh, yes.
or
No,
the-
it's the owner.
If the owner doesn't want to do this, and I would assume that you don't want to do this, or you wouldn't be here. I mean, I'm not sure we can just take it out of an owner's hands and do this, but
I don't know about the grant aspect. I mean, that is one reason why an institution like the Academy of Performing Arts looked at it, because it can, certainly, community preservation. I mean, we have
I mean,
that
it's
at the
just-
town level. once you become a historic registry property, you are more apt to get community preservation money.
Would you object to that?
The objection to the putting on the historic registry is that, as one of you said, it does tie your hands. They have requirements about how it gets repaired, or it's not a repair anymore. It's a restoration, which increases, as you might imagine, the cost.
Right.
As far as not being interested in repairing this barn, that's not true.
That's not true, okay.
And what I would like to interject in this, and the public may not be aware of this, including the gentleman who spoke over here, is I've been contacted by the Yarmouth Fire Department, and they're very concerned about the public safety issue here. If you look at some of these photographs.
I saw today it's all fenced in. There's a fence around it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is fenced in now. That south wall, the one that's, you see the bulge in, they're concerned that's going to collapse. And as someone in the building department pointed out, is a fence only works as well as someone who's
Right.
willing to climb it.
Jump over
And
it.
as we all know, children tend to be adventurous. It is a liability.
You made reference to economics as being a consideration for why nothing has been done to save this barn over the past 30 years.
It's not true that nothing's been done, sir.
Okay, not enough has been done
Correct.
to save the barn. How much property does Carter Farm LLC own, including the property that the barn sits on?
25 acres.
25 acres. Have you considered selling a portion of that land?
To
A small portion?
Yeah, not to fund the,
In part.
we have been trying to maintain ownership of this property.
You'd like to keep the entire 25 acres.
And part of the history of Yarmouthport is people and ownership, I would imagine. I mean, the family has owned this property for a long time.
As well as the barn.
As well as the barn and the house, yes.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to talk about this? Would you step
Come on
up to the...
forward.
The woman in the back.
Yes.
That microphone works.
Hi, I'm Ellen Briggs. I'm founder and president of Protect Our Past, and we are focused on saving historic properties on the
Could you
Cape. and
speak
the-
up, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Might be able to pick it up.
How about if I do that? Is that better?
better.
Okay, I'm Ellen Briggs, founder and president of Protect Our Past, a nonprofit that's focused on saving the historic identity of the Cape and the islands. And this barn is very much a part of what we'd like to see saved. I know it's on private property. I have had to save and restore an historic structure that was in my family, got moved back onto our property. So I understand all the issues in restoring an historic property, but in the end, once it's gone, it's lost forever, and that history is gone and lost forever. I would very much like to see it saved. I'm sorry that it has is falling apart due to neglect. It is not an uncommon method that people have for with their properties if they don't have an intention of restoring it. And I don't know this gentleman, I don't know his family, but I have watched that barn and it breaks my heart. We are losing the historic fabric of the Cape and Islands, and that's why we started this organization. I would love for you to put a demolition delay on it, for us to give some time to try and sort out a way that might work out for this family as well as the community. I didn't know about this barn until this last year, so I haven't seen it over the years as it's begun to go downhill. But I understand financial challenges, but there are ways, and we've done it with some other properties, where we come together, we put the minds together and resources together and see if there's a way that this family would be comfortable in restoring it. So I'm going to ask you to deny the demolition, put a delay on it, and let's see if we as a community can come together and help them out with the situation. Do you have any questions for me?
I'd just like to say that I really admire the work that POP has done thus
thank
far.
you.
And I totally agree with you that every effort should be made to restore the barn.
Yeah.
Are there any limitations that you can, in terms of usefulness of the barn? I'm a boating person, and this would be a great place to store boats in the winter. And you could get quite a bit of money, because I know how much it used to cost me to store my boat. And so fixing it up to the point where you could use it in a commercial way.
Yeah, I think that there definitely could be some ways. I don't know the family. We need to hear what their
I mean, you
thoughts
don't,
or
you don't
what
wanna
would-
just fix it all up and have it just sit there again, but it'd be good if you
we
could fix
make it
up
an
and
income
use it.
producing property for them. Perhaps that's a way to make it work. Again, that's just it's something to be explored, I would think.
Well, that's a possibility.
From my point of view, it's a possibility. We'd have to see what they are thinking. Yeah, did you have a question?
I did have a question. Is there a process by which a structure like this is pulled apart and reconstructed on another piece of property?
Certainly that can happen. That's, we have historic preservationists in our group, and we could look at that. We'd have to find a place and a use for it and make it a viable opportunity financially and all other ways.
I think I like clearly the community coming together and trying to preserve or reconstruct on another piece of property is what has to happen. With the pressure that's being asserted by fire, there probably needs to be some kind of timeline before they impose a timeline, which could be sooner than we really even understand here tonight. So maybe the denial, what happens then if the Yarmouth Fire Department comes back and says, well, it's got to come down now?
I think it automatically gets,
Fire department concerned
Recording in
about fire
progress.
or collapse?
Sorry.
Is the fire department concerned about a fire in the building or of it collapsing?
What are they worried about? Do you know, David?
I'm sorry.
We know that the fire department contacted you.
Yes.
Did they express their concern? Is it a fire danger? It's a
Collapse.
Oh, it's a collapse.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we could possibly have an expert come and look at it and see what we need to do to shore it up until a solution is found. Perhaps you've done that. I don't know. I came in sort of late because I had to come down from Provincetown, and sorry, I'm a little late, so I didn't hear his introductory comments. So, but it just how long is your demolition delay?
I think it's 30 days.
No, your demolition.
6 months.
6 months? 6 months. Well, that's something. It's something to be worked on, and perhaps, and I know the holidays are coming up, so maybe it would be a January, everybody put their heads together and see what we can do.
Something,
I know, go ahead, Bob.
Sam has his hand up.
yeah. I don't know, Ellen, were you done?
Unless.
Okay.
No, we'll just stay there for a second. And just before you speak, I don't even really know the legal implications of, we certainly deny this tonight, and we probably will. But I don't know what legally we can do without your consent. I mean, we'd like to get an inspector in there, have somebody look at it, maybe, whatever, to see if it can be preserved. But I don't know if we can do that with private property and somebody doesn't want it.
Well, what do you want, David?
He wants it to
Do
come
I
down.
want?
Well, I know you clearly would like to just let it go, well, or maybe not.
Actually, that's not true.
Good, so
And the-
educate us.
If we could do something, meantime.
Yes. The issue is, it's a catch-22. In order to have it inspected or surveyed by a qualified structural engineer, they need to have access to the interior of the building to a certain degree. If you look at these photographs,
Right.
Yeah, it's a mess.
I would be,
But they must go into these kinds of things all the time to inspect and
I-
make those decisions to fix it or tear it down. So these people
I-
that do
they
this
do-
business,
but if you, yes, they do, but it's the amount of debris from the collapse of the cupola.
It could be inspected. Now, in order to buy time and trying to be sympathetic to the economic considerations despite the 25 acres, if the roof were preserved, the bulk of the cost of correctly, from a historic preservation point of view, restoring that barn would be the restoration of the cupola. That's where the real money is. To put a roof back on, repair what's broken, is the lesser part of the total cost of the restoration. It would be probably, from a time perspective, relatively easily, especially if we have 6 months and could get it going, easily affected. So there are a number of ways to skin this cat rather than tearing down this important piece of Yarmouth Port history. So did you want to?
One of these is a question. So earlier you were talking about an application to a historic structure, like applying to have it designated as an historic structure, and that the decision to do that is purely on the owner. Is there a process where a foundation or something can apply in place of the owner if the property is at risk? Like, this property sounds like it's at risk. The other thing is, I might be stating the obvious here, but whatever, if this barn is to be preserved, whatever is done needs to be done in a fairly timely manner. Winter is coming. We never know what we're going to get. We could get several feet of snow, and it could cause the barn to completely come down on itself. So is there something that can be done to brace it without a roof, to prepare it for winter if there is not time to look into the alternative of re-roofing the barn before that date? How can it be shored up to make sure it will last through a winter? It might be a mild winter, it might not be. We never know. So that's my question, is what can be done in a short time frame to buy us the time on the demolition delay? Because the town may put the delay on it. The barn might demolish itself. So I'm not sure where you go with that.
well, obviously, we start as soon as we can, but, and with 6 months to work with, granted, the winter could be a problem. So I don't even know where you'd start to do this, but somebody must know.
Cover the hole in the roof to start with. That would be relatively inexpensive. Tarp,
There's no roof anymore.
keep moisture from continually penetrating.
Who do we talk to about this?
Ellen, do you have any kind of emergency funding or
No,
volunteers?
wouldn't that be nice? Maybe one day we will. We don't yet. I would love to see the tarp put on it. I think that's a great first step. But I think we need somebody, it could be you, Bob, it could be Fred Ecker, it could be somebody, go in and say, this is really the reality here. And this is what we've got to work with, and this is what we don't have to work with. And I think as soon as that's done, then we can have an assessment if there's anything, what the next steps could be or not.
Well, I'm glad you referenced Fred. Because, we're familiar, this body is familiar with Fred Ecker.
Yeah, well, good, because he's
And,
done this
he's-
before.
He's a renowned historic preservationist who happens to live on Thatcher Shore Road, about 100 to 150 yards from the Carter property. And he unfortunately could not be here tonight. He's working on historic preservation down south. But he has told me that, in his estimation, despite its visible deteriorated condition, the barn is still restorable. And that's where I got my information about the relative cost of the cupola versus the cost of putting a roof on it now, and maybe sometime in the future, if the funds could be raised, the cupola could be restored and the barn could be brought back to its beautiful original condition.
I can see a really fun fundraiser for that, by the way. I think the community would really step up to the plate. I have seen a structure that Fred is working on now in Georgia that was really leaning like this. And it's just amazing. So yes, these things can be saved, but I would like his eyes on the inside as well as the outside to really assess what we're looking at, what needs to be done, what can be done, whether it gets moved to another property for other use, whether it becomes a viable entity on that property that'll be income producing for the family. To just say, go ahead and tear it down now, I think would be a real huge loss for not just Yarmouthport, but the town.
I think Lisa Grady has joined us on Zoom, and she had said that she wanted to comment.
There she is, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Well, I only had an impact statement. I believe that you have the photo that I took of the property 2 years ago in your packets, correct?
Yes.
And unfortunately, you on the panel may not have realized this, but number one, you're not on channel 18 tonight. Number two, there was no sound until maybe about 5 minutes ago. So I've missed a lot of this. I believe that Ellen Briggs has probably covered most of what I wanted to say. And if she comes up with a fundraiser for this, I'm on board. I just think that this would be a real loss, not only to Yarmouthport, but to Cape Cod in general, to lose this kind of history. And it would be another piece of vanishing Cape Cod. So let's do what we can to try to save this property in some way. And I'll let you carry on your meeting from here, but thanks. I'm going to watch from here on, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I just
Thank
want to
you.
close with one quote that we like to use a lot by John Sawhill. And he said, "A society is going to be remembered not for just what it created, but for what it refused to destroy."
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Okay.
Who's my phone? Did you talk with?
Is there anyone else? I move to deny this application.
I second.
All those in favor of denial?
Aye.
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 Okay. So we'll pursue some of these other things, and I'm sure they'll be getting in touch with you.
Stay in touch, David.
Yeah,
I will. Thank you for your time.
good,
You all set?
Okay, love, you're all set, thanks.
good, thank you.
Did you drive further down that road on Buttercup Lane past the house they want to knock down? It's like a. My son David is the David. It's like a 4-unit condominium place further up the road.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did.
It's gorgeous. I didn't even know it was there. I didn't either. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot though, that house. You could build a beautiful house there.
Definitely.
So did this board have the authority to impose a demolition delay for 6 months?
This is the demolition delay.
Automatic.
by denying it.
It is,
It's a 6-month.
so he can't appeal in a week.
Yeah, he could appeal it.
Go over and have a cigarette and drop it in the pond. That'll take care of it.
Appeal it.
The next item is also a demolition at 2 Buttercup Lane, and 2 Buttercup Lane Realty Trust is the owner. Alexandra Nemanov
Nemenov.
is the agent.
Anybody here for Buttercup? This might be a no-show.
That's too bad.
The only person online is Lisa Grady. Are you here for Buttercup?
Buttercup?
Oh, come on up.
I'm not here to represent the,
Oh.
Your neighbor?
here as a neighbor,
Oh, okay.
so you don't want to hear from me.
Well, I don't know, you may.
Just,
You-
you don't have anybody here that's on the property.
Might as well hear from them.
They were gonna come for the informal too.
They didn't show up for the informal?
Well, that's at the end of the meeting,
Oh.
after the meeting.
Okay, can we do that?
Well, since we have them here,
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah, there's a problem with the Zoom meeting, so, Dave's gonna shut this down and then start it up again and bring the other one. For some reason, the Zooms don't
got
match up.
two
So
Zooms,
there
okay.
may be some people online, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to just wait a minute.
Yeah,
I think
good.
these people from Buttercup are going to be, coming in through Zoom, because they're on Lexington, I believe.
Gotcha.
Okay.
He's gonna shut us down and bring us back up.
Lisa, does what Miss Grady had to say about not being able to hear anything,
I don't-
is
I
that
hear
part of
anything,
this?
No, but I think she had trouble getting in. That Zoom
wasn't,
can't
that
do
wasn't a problem with the recording? The recording should be okay?
The recording is fine.
Good.
The channel
Okay.
18 is not working, so it's not live on cable. But
All
that's
right.
a problem with channel 18. They're trying to get that fixed before the town
Okay.
meeting tomorrow.
Jeez.
But the Zoom, he can fix. It's just not synced for some reason. Whatever was, there's something that's not right with it. So if he brings
Okay.
it back up, then that should bring Zoom up, and we should be good with that. And it is recording. It's just not live on channel 18 either, but that's a bigger problem than what we have here.
Are the people for 20 Greenland Circle here? No?
They might be on the other Zoom.
Yeah,
Other
we could do
Zoom.
business with
I think Pine Street's here.
Pine Street?
Yeah.
All right, so we should table the other two till the end of the meeting and then move on to
Yeah,
Pine Street.
right.
Okay, I'll move to table application
22
22
DO02.
dash D002 until the end of the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
aye. Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
All right. Ready for the next one?
Yep.
I move to table application 22-A124 until the end of the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Okay, so we'll move on then to 25 Pine Street. Thomas Moore Design is here. Good evening. And the homeowners, Diane and Adam Vitkovich.
Good evening, Thomas Moore from
Sure,
Thomas Moore
please.
Design, representing Adam and Diane Waitkovich. And they're looking to do some renovations to their existing house at 25 Pine Street. going to be replacing all their windows with double-hung windows, pretty much like for like, grill patterns, and they're going to be simulated divided light windows. We're adding a dormer on the right side of the existing house, which gives them some headroom to, for a bathroom up there. They're also going to be building a pergola on the left side of the house over a patio.
This house is set quite far back from the street,
It is set back from the street.
so it's very difficult to even see. I had to back and fill a couple of times before I could even see it. So,
Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
okay.
So you're going to stick with 6 over 6?
Yes.
So is this the house that has the solar panels in the back on the structure?
Ground
That
level.
house is to the right.
Yeah. So it's not the same house?
Not the same house.
Hold on if you want to fold them up or whatever.
Shouldn't be very noticeable.
No.
Yeah. But nice design anyway. The birds will be happy.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
I think you have to sign something.
The usual. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
It's the architect of my house, and it's still standing, so this should be good. Very happy with it.
We're not on, we can't get on?
He's trying to get it going.
Oh, thank you. Everybody likes my hair, so I love it. I could do this in the morning and I'm done.
Great.
Perfect. All right, so that goes with. So does it matter that we didn't have that transaction on tape?
Which transaction?
Well, we just did.
I believe it is.
Wasn't on the video.
Oh, I don't know. No, Lisa said
It's still recorded.
there'll be a tape.
But
It's
he's-
not
he-
live.
but
You
he-
can't see it
But
live.
he shut the whole thing down.
Yeah, so the last one probably wasn't taped. This more one,
Yeah.
yeah, probably wasn't taped. The barn, the demolished, I think was.
Yeah, that was all on there, but he has since shut it down,
Yeah,
so.
I believe you're right.
We approved it. He's happy, so that's the end of that.
Recording in progress.
It would be nice to get away from this COVID-19 stuff.
You think?
Yeah,
I second.
it's time.
Move to
The
approve.
time has come.
Ugh. How do you think this guy feels? Like a vault.
Really? They're practically twins.
Be willing to sign my nomination.
My. Look at this barn. It looks perfect in here.
looks terrible, but it can be saved. But the shame of it is.
The informal discussion, you all have these. Last one.
Yes.
While we were waiting for that to come up.
Yeah, we do.
There's some, we tabled some
I'm sure.
stuff, so.
I mean, it's on Baptist Shore and Church, and
So how will we handle this?
Well, hopefully they come online and we can discuss it back and forth and pick through the pictures. It
So
looks,
it's a sort of an informal review?
well, see, they want to build a two-story colonial type house there. And this first one is one option, the second one is this next option. And they have drawn elevations for those.
Oh, I see. So the gray one and then the white one?
Yeah,
They look pretty similar.
Yeah,
This must be yours.
they sure do.
Thought I didn't have to.
The entrance is
And
pushed over
there-
to the right a little bit.
Absolutely the same.
It's very similar, but
No, I think they're exactly the same.
actually, you're right, because you flip it around.
It's just color.
On
I
page
hate
one,
this.
the bottom of page one, where they have
hate
those
that.
windows right at the corner of the house, it's kind of a no-no.
Which one?
This lower picture has the windows right at the
Kinda
corner.
weird.
That's gotta be
That's kind of
a
strange.
screw up, because I don't think you can even construct it that way.
You can,
with Buttercup.
but it doesn't really look well.
They wanna-
Well, because you might want to put a bed there.
No, that's bizarre. I also wondered, what is the point of this? Seems to be run through both versions.
Right, it's just a little extra pizzazz,
It's ugly.
yeah. So those lower two pictures,
Yeah, they're
out as
identical
far as I'm
except for the color.
concerned.
I don't have a copy of this.
Big improvement over what's there now.
Not enough of an improvement, however.
Not in my package.
It was online, they had it online too.
I don't know.
They're gonna have to cut down a lot of trees to get it to look like that.
Oh, I have the demolition.
Little cottages like
That's all
covered,
I have. I don't
over,
have the-
completely covered in trees.
Now, this even has a floor plan.
That's too bad.
Nope, I don't have it.
I don't think that's particularly attractive house.
Not at all.
It's in the back of the
Are
pack.
they here? They're not here.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm
This
looking
isn't a butter.
Unless they're on Zoom.
To get them in.
Yay! I see it's happening.
I don't have it. Unless it's, wait a minute, let me look at the,
I think it's him and not us trying to figure this out.
the front.
It's a good thing he's doing it, not us.
Mm-hmm.
Cranberry Lane,
All right.
Hollywood,
That little
Church Street.
two Buttercup I can see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Richard, should we go through the last vote, just to get it on record?
Circle.
The vote on 25 Pine, I think we just did?
We did vote, didn't,
Yeah, she was wondering if we should get it on,
Did that get recorded, Lisa, the
on
25
video.
on
Pine?
video?
Because that was off when we did the vote.
Probably be faster to just do it.
Oh, it's tied in with the
Oh, there
other
you
one. Okay.
You wanna do that? Who moved?
See, that's, it's on the back of
did.
Pine, it shouldn't have been.
Seconded, and it was unanimous.
So we could just do the number and then just go through the vote again.
Yeah,
you want,
okay.
sure.
Well, before we had the communication here, we tabled two items and went on to the third item, which is 22A 125. And that was an addition and some smaller renovations to an existing house at 25 Pine Street. And after reviewing the material and discussing it with Thomas Moore, the designer, we concluded that there was a motion to approve. And who made that motion?
You
I
moved,
move to
and
approve.
then
Okay.
somebody seconded.
Rosemary,
Was it me? It was me.
it was seconded over here with,
And it was unanimous vote.
and it was unanimous vote. So for the record,
Move to untable.
now we can, yes, if you would move to on table.
Move to untable 22-D002 to Buttercup Lane.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Untable.
Okay, so we can discuss it now. Hopefully, the homeowner is here.
There is somebody already online. Hello. There you go.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, I'm the owner. My name is Alexander Nemanov. You can call me Alex. And I would like to show you a house, what I try to build for myself. If it's okay with you, I will try to explain like my way on this project right now. I built
Alex,
this.
are you the owner and the agent, or just the agent?
No, I'm owner,
Okay.
and I have an architecture with me on our meeting right now. Maybe he will explain some our thoughts and this project much better than me, because English is my first language, and it's everyday challenge for me. So I first of all, I bought this house like it's like awful condition, some tree fall on it, and like it's small. And I try to build a new one for me and for my family, my wife and kids. And first of all, we consider it to build a modern style on it, and like we go a long way with conservation area, health department. And after that, where we was on a ZBA board, they told me, because I'm new on this structure and how the building process goes. The ZBA told me you need to go to the historical department because your house
Not
and
hysterical,
all.
historical.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for correction. Historical review with your house, because in our south house they told me you will not have a chance to build a modern. That's why I try to convert my footprint, what was approved from conservation and from the health, to historical view.
Right,
Okay,
got it.
So, right now, we're voting on the demolition.
Yes,
Demolition.
Not
Yes.
a minute too soon.
So, was this the application that you wish to address us? Would you like to do that now? About the demolition? We're just talking about the demolition. Do you have something to say with regard to that?
Yes, I would like to
No.
demolish.
No, I'm sorry, Alexander, I'm asking him, there are two people from the public sitting here who wanted to talk about this application, so I'm giving them a chance. Yes,
Just to be clear, we're talking about 2 Buttercup, right?
Yes. Hi. My name is Pete Kurtowitz. I live on 3 Buttercup Lane, across the street.
just across the street.
And if the object of the meeting is the demolition, we would be fully in favor of it. It's been a rundown property for quite a few years. And we're hoping that the new owner is going to build something that's going to be suitable for the neighborhood. And I think we did take a look at his original plans. I know that's not on the docket right now,
No, but we.
but is
We'll get to that.
that something you will be looking at?
Has to come
We'll
back
get to
with the
that,
plans.
and you can certainly weigh in at that time.
Okay, so the demolition is all we're concerned with right now?
Exactly.
Exactly.
We have no problem with that at all.
Good, I move to approve.
Well,
I'll second.
Are there any other abutters or interested parties that are on Zoom?
Who's this Evgeny?
I think that's his architect.
Yeah.
Alex, is Evgeny your architect?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I seconded the motion to
Okay.
approve.
All those in favor of demolition?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, love.
We are gonna
Thank you.
do an informal review if you want to stay, but it's.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Talking again to the people in the audience, but
Yeah.
it's informal, so.
Well, you'll be able to see, we have a couple of possible designs.
I'm sorry, I don't hear too.
We have a couple of possible designs, proposals, and the idea of meeting informally is that we may have strong opinions on one or the other, you know, or both of them, and send it back to design, you know. And on the other hand, if one of them looks appealing
This isn't it.
and would fit into the neighborhood and all that, then we'll let them know that, and they can develop a proper set of plans to come in before us. It saves a lot of time. Yeah,
Yep, just to start.
Something I could take with me,
You can have my copy, hang on.
we have another extra copy.
you know, have our other neighbors take a look at it.
I think that's permissible, I don't see why. He's gonna also have other neighbors take a look at this. It's
still
public,
preliminary-
it's in
it's
the
still
public
preliminary.
record, so.
They're approved for their design, they're gonna have to come back.
He's got a roof now.
Just
Before.
knock Bob over. With a feather.
I'm a pushover. You can tell from that Carter Barn application.
Yeah, exactly.
Very fitting.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, thanks a lot. All right, what do we have next?
One more. We have to untable it. I move to untable 22-8124, Marlene Fuentes with Bright Planet Solar as the agent.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's finish this.
Set, Alex.
Well, no, he's gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry, they're waiting for the review.
Yeah, they'll
Beg
be.
your
Yes.
pardon.
In the meantime, the solar panel one.
Do we have anybody from Bright Planet Solar or Marlene?
You see any names up there that?
Evan Beckman, Tim Carter, 2 Buttercup, and Evgeny, and then the next one, green one is, I don't know what that is.
Is there a green line up there?
Yeah,
The,
Beth-
B.
Bethesda 18, Bethesda something 18.
Is anybody here for the discussion on the solar panels on 20 Greenland Circle? Maybe we should see what they are here for.
I know that Evan Beckman is in a butter too.
They're not here, we should just table it.
David Carter, and then Evan Beckman's an abutting neighbor to him.
Okay, so Tim, we did discuss the Carter property previously.
He's here, that's him.
I thought his name was something else.
David Tim Carter.
Right, oh, it's David Tim Carter.
He goes by Tim.
Oh, so he's just watching or something? Okay. About Evan?
He's in a butter of Carter.
Well,
Okay.
this 20 Greenland has no representation.
Looking that way. The last one is Bettendrow, 18, or something like that. But they're not responding, so, okay.
So we might as well table this to the next meeting.
Yeah, I move to table, let's see, what is it? 22-A124.
I'll second.
All in favor, this is tabling to the next meeting.
Aye.
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 Okay.
Alrighty.
Now we can go into the informal. So is Evgeny here?
Yeah.
Yes, hi, it's me here.
Okay, so I want to make sure you could hear us.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate you making these. You have basically two different designs,
Yes.
right?
Well, that was the old design that they had to improve in order to make it look more traditional instead of modern style. And we're gonna have to, of course, we're gonna have to work with the layout right now and with the elevations. It's gonna look much better and more consistent. And we're gonna work with the windows as well and all this stuff. And it's definitely gonna fit the neighborhood. We also review the list from your website with the colors and all this styling, and we'll try to make it look like the neighborhood, of course.
So Eugenie, I have a question for you. On the demolition request application, it says the plan renovation entails a new layout but observes zoning setbacks from the date the original home was constructed, 1945. Is that allowed? I don't know. Are they allowed to- if they ex-
Excuse me.
Grandfather setback?
Well, not if they're tearing it down. I don't know if it's in the same footprint. I just don't know what the rules are about that, the zoning rules.
I think
Excuse me. Can I tell?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got 10 feet.
Are you hear me?
If he has 10 feet, that's,
Where do you see 10 feet?
on here.
Oh, okay, thank you.
This is the closest one, and that's a 10-foot.
From Coastal Bank.
I don't think it's conservation or anything. I mean, it would say it, wouldn't it?
Zoning. Setbacks are zoning.
Right, but, well, if it's, is this conservation?
It's
Are you
wetlands.
abutting conservation?
Pond.
They went through conservation before, yes.
Okay, that's up here, though.
Yeah, So they're
They're
into the no,
ample.
they're into the no-build zone here. See, it's 35
Oh, I
foot
see what
no-build
you're
zone.
saying. Oh, yeah.
So I just don't know what the zoning rules are in terms of,
That's the, oh, I see, you're saying the old one.
I don't know, is that the
But the
old one?
new one is not.
So is that the old house?
Yeah, that's the old
Oh,
house.
I see.
That's,
Okay.
the new house is within the setback. You hear us, right, Eugenie?
Yes, I do.
We're just confirming that the new footprint is the closest to the bank is 35 feet, 35 and a half feet?
Yes, yep.
Okay, so yeah, this is their closest.
They have to get conservation approval too, so that's not up to us.
Exactly.
And they went through ZBA and it was fine.
So, say that again, please?
It's been through.
They went through the ZBA meeting and they had an approval.
When you say DBA, do you mean building? ZBA.
ZBA,
Oh, okay.
zoning review.
Zoning board.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really just one design.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I
two
was
different colors.
confused. I
Same
kept looking
design
for
in
the
two different
second
colors.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're definitely gonna work. We're definitely gonna work with the elevations and design and a little bit with the layout, because the previous house was contemporary and it definitely gonna have to be changed. But we're gonna work
There's
inside
a
the.
couple of design elements that we often frown upon, and one is the ridge line is quite long here. Of course, the whole width of the house looks like more than 50 feet. We usually like to see the roofs broken up some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can do that.
And another element is having the windows on the front of the house so close to the corner.
Oh, yes, I know that. We're gonna change that for sure, because the previous, according to previous design, it was contemporary, and that was an idea that got here from the previous one. So we'll change that too.
Yeah, and the other is that the windows, these are all double hung windows, right?
Yes.
And they're kind of narrow in the front of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of blank space.
A lot of blank wall.
Oh, yeah.
And the windows look small. They really come across small. The windows
I
on the
do agree.
back of the house, on the other hand, they're a decent size, and you have lots of them because you're looking where you're looking at the water, so we can understand that.
Right.
But it would be get more balance in the front.
Yeah, we'll try to make it more balanced. We'll bring more light in the front.
And the other element that struck us was that little roof over the entryway up on the very top of the roof. Really doesn't need to match what's going on below.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
It looks kind of phony, if you will.
Yep.
The back.
Plan to put in a fireplace or chimney? I don't see any on the drawing, on the plan.
Well, you might have a gas fireplace someplace.
Still the event it.
It doesn't show on the drawings. Let's see, on the floor plan.
Yeah, we don't have it right now, but we'll probably put one. But I'll double check with the client if he wants to do so.
Oh, you have a floor plan?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I have one too. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's oriented to summer living.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Sure.
Is it like required to have a chimney or fireplace? I mean, the chimney fireplace, or
No,
no? Okay.
no, it's not
How do you
required.
vent the furnace?
You can go
Okay.
right out the side wall.
That's true.
What does its square footage end up being?
Let me check.
2,000.
2,500?
Well, it says 2,000 on this.
It's it's 2,000 both floors.
2,085.
2,000.
I can't imagine this house in that spot. Doesn't seem to fit.
The house next door is a similar size. It's mostly two-story
I don't remember
colonial.
it looking so sterile, though. I don't know, it just,
Yeah, that's why I say the ridge line, they've got to break up
yeah, it just,
because it's too long and just looks very contemporary. The other
Yeah, I
thing-
do agree. We're gonna change that.
The other thing is, we usually require that the roof pitch be 7-inch, 7 on 12 or higher.
7 on 12.
Be 8 on 12, 9 on 12, but this looks kind of low.
Mm-hmm. So 12.
To give it a more colonial
Mm-hmm.
style. The house next door, I think, is partially two-story and partially 1.5. And so on. It creates a little interest and variation. Some of the others along there too are broken up. Any other feelings about the design?
No, I'll be curious to see the next rendition.
So what are your thoughts, Richard, on how to break up that long ridge? Aside from increasing the pitch, and how would you approach that? Stepping it down on one end?
The house next door.
Yeah,
The garage lower.
Yeah.
And then a little den or something on the other side.
if you broke up the, it would end up changing the floor plan
That's what I'm
somewhat.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking the question.
There's no garage as part of the design?
Yes.
Yes, there's no garage, or yes, there is a garage?
There's no garage, so.
No garage.
One thing you could do is a hip roof.
Setbacks are probably not.
That would help, because then the ridge line would be shortened.
Mhm.
by the-
Did
both-
you
at
understand
both
that?
ends.
I think you
Alexander?
heard it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Excuse me, could you repeat please again?
Did you understand what the chairman just suggested to break up the long roof?
You could use a hip roof on it.
I will give you honest. I don't understand about what's
A hip roof? Don't know what's meant by that?
Yeah, we can definitely put a hip roof on that, if it would help.
That would make all the difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This right now looks like a motel.
And possibly increasing the windows in the front to make them look more like the rear windows?
Oh yes, we're gonna work with the layout a little bit to make those bigger and more windows as well. Yep, we can do that.
For some part, it could be like a hard to make it bigger, but we will consider it because
You know, the other thing is, the front entry, on your drawing, you just put a very simple post there, which is probably because it's the beginnings of a design. But you could do a lot more to enhance that front entry.
Thanks, but I got about 49 of them in my car. That's that style.
Yeah, the whole front entry section looks pinched in contradistinction to what's outside of it. I think the hip roof will help a lot. Maybe doing something by adding windows or making them bigger, or bringing the four windows to the left of that front entry section a little closer together, or something to try to make it look more cohesive.
well, we could use like a white trims. If it will not possible to make it windows bigger, we actually could use like a white trims or maybe like some other part what will like makes some visual like a windows bigger.
Okay.
Well, do you have some ideas now to maybe bring this more into conformity with our ideas?
So, well, for this meeting, our goal like to have your feedback on it,
Right,
and
that's
like
what I'm getting. Do you feel like you've had it? Like you
Yes,
got it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a very worthwhile get-together.
Yeah.
Got any other questions for us before we call it a night?
Yeah, well, I have one question. Any maybe recommendation from your side about the siding and maybe the color?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby blue would not be good.
I have a baby. My wife told me not anymore.
I like the white better than the gray.
4 is enough.
I mean, it does lend itself a little bit to the colonial look.
Right.
I still don't like the stacked, the entryway, for me, I have a hard time with the two apex, the two triangles, one on top of the other.
Yeah, well, that's why the
They're
top,
gonna
the
work
top
on that.
triangle should go.
Yeah.
And if you just make a simple hip roof, that would look a lot better. And
So I think I like
and
those
then
for
do
this.
some, revamp the front entry doorway and that roof and posts.
Change the
You
back,
know, they could be like 10-inch posts, fluted or
Yeah,
whatever.
and then the white would really
Cheers it
work.
up. Yeah.
It'll be more, yeah, I think white is better for this semi-colonial look.
Okay, satisfied? Okay, we will end it with that. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And excuse me, could I ask you one more questions, please? What kind of material we can use for the siding? Is it possible to use like a fiber?
We sort of favor wood or hardy plank.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
you're
for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you, too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good. Now, we had minutes of the meeting came up, and I reviewed them, inputted. So, any other comments on the minutes of the meeting from last week, 2 weeks ago?
I didn't hear you. Meeting minutes. Any comments?
I couldn't hear 'em. Yeah, they were fine to me, fine.
I think everyone got back to Lisa on this.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
So can we approve that, of the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes of
Second? Nope, go ahead.
October 24th.
Okay, yeah.
Second.
October 24th. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Now, we have a new schedule for next year, very similar to this year's. And
Looks good to me.
yeah, and it allows us to have a big celebration on May 22nd.
May 22nd. What? Why, what's that,
That's
your,
my
is that your
birthday.
birthday? Is that your birthday, Richard?
Apparently.
What better way to celebrate?
Are you going to be 100, Richard? Is it a big one?
Well, it's big in the sense that,
The next big one's 3 digits, you're in trouble.
That's for sure.
it's double digits.
There you go.
Well, I move to approve the 2023 Old Kings Highway hearing schedule.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 You can approve this one too, Cindy. You will.
All right.
Okay.
And I hope everybody's going to come see me in the show at Child's Christmas in Wales.
What is it?
It starts November 18th and it runs through December 4th. So
I know that story.
it's we're doing a beautiful
What's this
job.
in Wales? Show?
A Child's Christmas in Wales. It's the Dylan Thomas piece.
Oh.
Yes, Lisa's going to be there. Yes. With Jim. So
Where is it at?
it's at the Dennis Union Church, which has a
Oh, okay.
theater built onto it. Gertrude Lawrence loved acting at the Dennis Playhouse, so she
Oh,
built
Gertrude.
herself a theater on the Dennis Union Church.
Wasn't she in The King and I, Gertrude Lawrence?
I think so.
She was.
I'm going to move to adjourn.
Yeah.
We're
Now that
getting into movie trivia now.
I'll second.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.